Hello, third graders, or should I say, hello, third grade angels. Welcome back to Fiesta Gardens Library, week 4. I'm so happy to have you back here. I wish you were here physically, but at least we are still together. We'll continue reading third grade angels. Last week, we read chapters 3, 4, and 5, and there was the hat incident. Remember, the lady was jogging and her hat flew into the yard, and the students all wanted so much to be the angels that they started fighting over the hat, and the hat ripped apart. And remember how mad Mrs. Sims was about that hat incident? Let's continue with chapter 6 of Third Grade Angels by Jerry Spinelli. Chapter 6. It was true. It was amazing, I said at dinner. You're just having one amazing day after another, said Mom. What was amazing, said Zippernose. Zippernose is my sister. She's behind me in 2nd grade. Other people call her Amy. She sneaked a pickle chip into my peanut butter and jelly sandwich on Saturday, so I'm not talking to her this whole week. Okay, said my dad. I'll ask. What was so amazing? Lots of stuff, I said. A lady's hat blew onto the playground and we went after it like sharks after a piece of meat. You're a piece of meat, said Zippernose. Mom, I yelled. Bubba, my baby brother, laughed and babbled something. It's the weirdest thing. Whenever I get mad, he laughs. My parents understand his babble, but I don't. We, said my dad. Huh, I said. You said we went after it like sharks. You were one of the sharks? I'm a cat, said Zippernose. She hates it when I get all the attention. And here's the family at dinner. I guess I was, I said, but it wasn't me that ripped the hat apart. My mother's eyes boggled. Ripped it apart? Good grief. What did the lady say? She called us little hoodlums. She got that right. And Mrs. Sims saw it all. Good. But I didn't rip it, I told them. There were too many hands in there. I couldn't even feel the hat. Accessory to the crime, said Dad. You were all equally guilty. My dad's a lawyer. I stabbed a green bean. That's what Mrs. Sims said. Even the kids who were just watching were guilty. Dad nodded. I like this teacher. I'm a cat, said Zippernose. I saw her reaching for the mashed potato spoon. I got there first. I dumped a spoonful on my plate. She reached for the spoon. I put it on the other side of the table. She screeched bloody murder. Mom, he always has to be first. He saw me reaching for the spoon and grabbed it. Give her the spoon, said Dad. Here they are fighting on the spoon. Zippernose's hand was wagging in my face. I stuck the spoon in the mashed potatoes. She went on whining. He just did it to make me mad. He doesn't even like mashed potatoes. I ignored her. Mrs. Sims was really mad, I said. She told us we were disgraceful. She said maybe nobody will get a halo this year. And you know what she said to Joey Peterson? The new kid who's not afraid of anybody? Asked Mom. Yeah, him. He laughed when she called us sharks. And know what she said? What? Said Zippernose. I didn't answer her. What? Said Dad. She said, button it, Peterson. Dad grinned. I like this teacher. As I said before, I do a lot of talking in the tub to my mom. As for thinking, I do that in bed. And that's what I was doing, thinking about dinner and hearing Zippernose's words over and over. He always has to be first. He always has to be first. It really bugged me because it's bad enough I have to hear her voice all day long in the house. But now I was hearing it in my own dark private bed with the door shut and the lights out. There is Suds thinking in the bed. It was like she shrunk herself and crawled into my ear, and now she was holding a megaphone and shouting across my brain, he always has to be first. He always has to be first. There was another reason why it bugged me. She was right. I could never say it to anybody. I couldn't even say it to my mother from under the suds in the tub. In fact, until this night, I don't think I had ever said it to myself. But as soon as she said it at the dinner table, I knew it was true. And it was about everything, not just mashed potato spoons. When us kids have races, I almost always win. If I don't, I feel bad. I mean, really bad. When we do art or writing in school, I'm always the neatest. The other kids come to my desk to see my stuff. My lines are straight, my letters are perfect. Even in first grade, I never colored outside the lines. Last year, my teacher said, "George, you may be the neatest student I've ever had." I almost never spell a word wrong. If I do, it bugs me for days. If I'm in the hallway heading for the bathroom and I see Zipper Nose coming from the other direction, I run to get there first. I can't help it. It's like everything is a race that I have to win. And now, that's how I feel about getting a halo. I want to be first. I have to be first. Chapter 7, Don't Buy Me. 11. That's how many apples were lined up along the front of Mrs. Sims' desk, plus 2 pairs of banana and a sandwich. And that's not counting Judy Billings' apple from yesterday, which Mrs. Sims took home last night. And one other thing, a gummy bear, a red one, from guess who? One of the apples was for me. We sat in our seats staring at them. Mrs. Sims stared too. We were remembering how mad she was when school ended yesterday. We were all flinching, waiting. And when it came, it started with a little wrinkle at her mouth. Then it went to her eyes, then her whole face. Her cheeks bulged out like tennis balls. Her neck got ropey, her hands shot to her mouth. Oh my God, I thought, she's gonna barf. I inched back in my seat. Sure enough, something exploded from her. But it wasn't barf, thank God. Whatever it wasn't just a mouth thing. It was a full body thing. She bent over like she had a stomach ache. She twirled away from us and wobbled to the front wall and stopped herself with her hand before crashing into it. When she turned back to us and took her hand away, I didn't recognize her face. It was blotchy and lumpy and red. Tears were coming down her cheeks. It was very scary. Somebody peeped. Is she crying? Somebody else peeped. She's sick. Joey Peterson gave a snort. She's not crying. She's not sick. She's laughing. He was right. She was laughing. I never knew a teacher could laugh this hard. Joey was chuckling to himself. The rest of us were a fishbowl of open mouths. Finally, she started to calm down. She took deep breaths. I looked around. A couple of kids were smiling, so I did too. But I was still afraid to laugh out loud. I had a feeling this might be a trick. She pulled a tissue from her box of Kleenex. She wiped her eyes and cheeks. She took a long, deep breath. She picked up the sandwich. It was plastic wrapped. She stared at it. She held it out to us. "Okay," she said. "What is it?" Billy Umberger spoke. "Corned beef." Mrs. Sims nodded. It looked like she was ready to bust out again, but she took a deep breath. She sniffled. "Okay, students, this has never happened before. I guess I just wasn't ready for it. Sorry for losing my self-control there. Disgraceful example for my students." "That's okay, Mrs. Sims." She turned to me and smiled. Because I was the one who said it without raising my hand. I kicked myself in the ankle. Thank you, George, she said. Oh, Georgie, I heard Joey whisper. I want you to know, said Mrs. Sims. She put down the corned beef sandwich and stepped away from the desk so we could all see the lineup again, the lineup of the apples. I want you to know how much I appreciate all this. She waved at it, but she still couldn't look at it. But I have to make something clear to you. Very clear. Yes, you must earn your halo. But no, you may not buy your halo. I cannot be bribed. She looked us over. Can somebody tell me what a bribe is? One hand went up. It was Ian O'Hara's. Yes, Ian. It means when you pay money to somebody to make them do something you want. Mrs. Sims nodded. Yes, good, Ian. With one correction. A bribe doesn't have to be money. A bribe can be, she waved at the desk, apples or pears or bananas or a corned beef sandwich. A couple of kids laughed at that. Or she picked up the candy gummy bears. She studied at it, then popped it into her mouth. Everybody laughed. You can bring me an apple every day. You can bring me a banana split with cherries and hot fudge and whipped cream. You can bring me, she threw out her arms, a new car. We all laughed, but her voice got lower, slower. You cannot bribe your way to a halo. She gave us her waiting to sink in look. So, how do you get your halo? The class called back. We earn it. Lesson learned, student angels? Yes. Okay, so stop putting your energy into bribes. Put your energy into being good, into doing good. Impress me, don't buy me. She rooted in a desk drawer and came out with a plastic bag. She dumped in the pears and the banana. She sniffed the sandwich. Corned beef, huh? Mr. Monty will like this. Mr. Monty is her dog. Into the bag went the sandwich. Mrs. Sims got another plastic bag and dropped in the apples. These, she said, will become my famous pink applesauce. Thank you for listening to chapters 6 and 7. Next time, we will continue with chapter 8, titled Perfect. Bye-bye, third grade angels. See you next time.